Hey everyone, welcome back to Rogue 16. We are doing another product spotlight tonight, and we are talking about Lowland Props. What is it? Admiral Ackbar badges,
Yeah,
rank
his
badges? Yeah.
I guess his rank badge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's their what number of release is this for them now?
This is
Is
the
this the
fifth
fifth release?
release.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, the fifth release. They're just we've said it so many times, they're just kind of killing it. They just keep going and going and going. So long may it continue. Yeah, we're really excited for this one. And this is nice because we've talked about this before. They've gotten more and more complex with some of their pieces. And
Correct.
this is nice because they're kind of going back to that original rank badge thing that they did, which is a little more simplified and just like a nice,
It's a good
yeah,
balance.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
And it's nice to
So
see them go back to this, and hopefully they keep kind of doing that as they go along, right?
yeah,
Giving
and
us
I
nice
think
simplified options.
I think it helps keep expectations in place that it's not presumed that
Right.
every piece moving forward is
Is
going to be bigger, more complex,
yeah, I get
etc.
it.
So it just keeps that level of consistency
That's good.
as each piece releases. Yeah. I believe, if I remember correctly, this is actually going to be the release.
Mhm.
This was it, hence it being called the first version. And what was interesting about this was they go through, a bunch of R&D, I should say, right? A lot of due diligence, research, et cetera, and development, and it's narrowing down every part used, whether it's a
Yep.
railroad found part, whether it's a model kit part, all of that. And by doing so, they want to get it as accurate as they possibly can. So this, as you can see, is as accurate as pretty much as it gets. But you're missing some small little nuanced details. And going back to 40 years ago during production of Star Wars: Return of the Jedi, um, they weren't sitting there making these pieces perfect. Someone wasn't sitting there saying, "Oh, this is a little crooked. Let me re-glue it," or
Right.
"Let me start over." No, it was slapped together, thrown on, and that was that.
Yeah.
And even more so, not only was it just slapped together and thrown on, but it got cast and reused in other parts, which,
Pieces got reused in different places. Yeah.
yeah, they got reused and repurposed for convenience and just to give that sort of in-world look, right? Some consistency
Yeah.
amongst pieces, just like you would, a belt, watch, things like that in our world. Um, so what I really like was this was about to drop as their fifth release,
Yep.
and then they decided, well, we came across some additional reference that was a little bit more clear, and they were able to sort of, tune into that and realize that, like, hey, it isn't quite accurate in the sense that not that the parts weren't accurate, but the imperfections, I
Yeah.
guess would be the good way to say it, right?
Right.
So the imperfections weren't accurate. And I love that they took that extra step to not only announce this, if you haven't yet joined the Lowland Props group, or watched any of their videos or visited the website, do so. They announced a quick good, bad, and the ugly, right? Kind of
Mhm.
like, hey, this is the great part. Here's our new release. The bad part is slight delay. And then the ugly was kind of a pun where the delay is we're actually making it a little bit more uglier because
Right.
ugly is more accurate, which I think is fantastic.
Which
I
is
mean,
what
this
they came
already
up
looks
for
amazing.
with this final version.
Yes. And then this is where you'll see, again, it's a subtle change to most, but if you pay close attention, you'll see that, there's various areas of split.
Yep.
There's
You
buildup
can
of clay.
Yeah, you can see it kind of adjust as you look at it, where it's like these parts look a lot more rough and kind of like wonky in the middle. Um,
Yeah, I love how it's misaligned, how it has like the additional residue. And
mhm.
then when you see the finished piece, you'll see that even the paint isn't perfect. It wasn't like someone took close
Right.
attention to detail, took a fine brush and said, well, let me get in the crevices and let me line this up. It was like, no, let me paint this piece, this piece,
Right.
this piece, and be done with it. And what I love about that is we've said for years, and it's now become sort of a tagline, not to compare, but for Regal Robot, where they bring the archives into your collection, right? And I had posted this earlier where I feel like Lowland is now sort of bringing these production pieces sort of into your collection. It's
Yeah.
kind of like you're getting these straight from production right onto your shelf,
Yeah.
which it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. It's cool.
especially when you're looking for such unique and, sort of obscure pieces like this that you wouldn't find anywhere else
Mhm.
unless you decided that one day you wanted to go down that path and build it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I like that this is I like that they do this kinda stuff. I like Real Robot. I like Lowland doing this kinda stuff where we can actually, get a nice finished piece and put it on our shelves. Like, it's great. It's great. I love that they
Yeah,
do
and I
that.
just love again not to, that everything is ID'd, sourced,
Mhm.
all original. So, you know, that's all being done for you if it was something that you ever wanted to build. But,
Yeah.
it's all being done for you and it's being
Well,
done in a way where you can display it beautifully.
and look, the not everybody in this hobby is as educated as me, even you, Jason, or the these get the Lowland Props guys. Not everybody wants to go deep as deep as everybody, as anybody else. So I
Yeah,
think that what's nice is having guys that in this hobby, having people in this hobby that do that and that are smart and that they they take the time to do the research and they know the history and all that stuff and they take the time to make it accurate. Like that's great, and all you gotta do is buy it and put it on your shelf. That's fantastic, right?
that
Like,
makes it easy. And I feel like it allows you to appreciate the piece a little bit more.
yeah,
It's not
sure,
just Akbar's badge.
right,
It's like look at all the time and effort that has gone into making it as accurate
yep,
to what you see on screen.
yep. And this is just so you guys see, this is the final piece right here, which obviously all these look so good, the way they mount these things, and
Yes,
it's just
we
so good.
when we were doing the Leia Hoth unboxing, I didn't have any other pieces next to me, and
Mhm,
we had questioned whether or not, if it was bigger, and we
yeah,
realized after once you put it on your shelf next to the other pieces, despite it being larger, they all line up perfectly,
yeah, it's crazy.
which is amazing. So
It's so cool.
this is one of those things where, again, the prop's removable if you want, but you can keep it on and have this beautiful display stand. And if you continue to collect these as they get released, you're gonna have a nice,
It'll
consistent
be interesting, Jason, if that is able to continue for
continue.
realsies.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not even saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying that, like, they
Yeah,
might
they
come
there
across
might
some things that
they
they can't
might run
do.
into a prop where they might not be able to keep
Right,
that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
right.
And that's
Obviously,
not a
so
bad
far it's
that's
worked
not a
out.
bad
No,
thing.
it's not bad at all. If
Yeah.
they have to change height or this, because something's it's not bad at all. It's just it's right now it's worked out that it's been consistent, which is really cool.
And what's great
Um,
about this is, again, they went that extra step, just like we saw on the Leia Hoth and we saw on the Jedi Comlink with the
yep,
burlap, right?
right.
So you have that little sort of like soft, um, you know, Akbar has that two-tone where he's got like the white pants, the white shirt,
Yep,
but he's got that cut-off shirt over, and it's
yep.
got that sort of soft 80s cotton, and you're getting that material as the backer where
Yeah,
the
it's really
badge
cool.
rests.
It's
And
really
that's
cool.
just what a nice little touch of detail to have. It's not just, hey, here's a great display stand to display your piece. You're also getting,
Yeah, it's
that
very unique
additional.
part of the display that they do on all of them that it's just really cool.
Yeah,
And the
it's just
fact
a
that all
way.
these things are magnetic. Like
Yeah,
they magnetic you can pull these things off and just turn them around and do all you can display them any way you want. Um, it's really cool. I love the way they put these things together. Do
yeah,
you
and the
know if
paint
is this the same dark black as the other it looks a little bit it looks more brown to me, this
for the
metal. Is it
stands.
yeah, is the stand the same or is
I
it
believe the stand is the same, yes. I
okay,
believe they're using the same materials for the
it
stand,
looks
which again, for
okay.
anybody who hasn't yet acquired one of these,
Yeah,
if you go for the Akbar, which is being released this Saturday, um, the stand that it sits on is a very it's robust. It's pretty
mhm,
heavy duty.
mhm,
It's metal. It's really high quality and well made. Even the little plaque area where it says Admiral Ackbar, etc. Like again, very well made. Nothing about this is there was no corners cut.
right.
Um, even like the hand painted elements, which I love, like just the special attention to detail there is amazing. So yeah, you're getting it all, and right here, this is fantastic.
Yeah, it's killer. I mean, the
And this is by
details.
design. For
Right.
anybody who's like, "Oh, it's a little," like, this is intentional, and that's what's
Mhm.
great about it.
It's just so funny. It all these little props and all these things that they put together with all these random like the Leia thing. I mean, Cece, I think you got the Leia, picked up the Leia, what's it called? Com thing or whatever.
Communicator.
Yeah, communicator. Just the fact that they got like a freaking a tape measure and just slapped it on this thing with other things connected to it. Like, it's crazy. I mean, even looking at this, like all these like random pieces they just put together to make these like rank badges. You know, it's just it shows you at the time when they were making this stuff just how like they could just grab like anything and put it on these things and paint them and make them look like however. It's crazy. It's so cool.
It
I
is,
love all the random shit that they did for these movies.
and it just makes sense, like, as Star Wars fans, we sort of take for granted that, like,
Mhm.
"Oh, okay, it's just a, part of costume A, costume B," because it looks like it works and it fits, and they did such an amazing job. I mean, everything from the models to the costuming to
Yeah.
the color choices, overall, like, everything just fits so well, and we take that for granted, but, yeah, sometimes when you narrow it down to, like, the correct the thumb wheel screw, right?
Mhm.
The model kit parts from the Ferrari 312, the 312T, and just the Tamiya parts, like, it's just you just would never know. And you see parts of this on the Bausch costume. Um,
Yeah.
you see parts of this on the back of the Biker Scout.
Mhm.
That's the actual top plate is flipped, and they're on the back of all the Biker Scouts.
On
And
the
they didn't
helmet or on the actual like
on
armor?
the what's when they're on the bikes, they're a little what are
Oh,
they called?
the little back the little back
Yeah, the
like
back plate. Yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah, I
back
got
plate. So, and
like a
it's not
thermos,
like
like
they
their thermos.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's I'm not sure what you would technically
Yeah,
call
yeah.
it. But it wasn't like they went like, "Hey, get the same parts, let's make another one." No, they just took this and this was recast and used
Right.
in other areas.
Yeah.
And that's the best part. So you see the top part basically as is, as wonky and as is, and flipped over and popped onto all the biker scouts and onto Bausch. And the more you look, the more you find these small elements
Yeah,
hidden
used
in
in
different
different
places.
places. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
That's really neat.
Yeah. I
S
think what do you so the last few releases have sold out quite
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah,
What do you guys think on this one? I know that they're kind of bringing it back to something
yeah.
a little bit more on the simple side, but because you have Akbar, who, you know,
Mhm.
in and of itself is such a unique character, you have a unique piece. What do you guys think? You think this is going to be a popular one? I think so.
I don't know, CC, thoughts?
Um, well, it's kind of hard to gauge because I'd only compare it to the first one they did, but also because that was the first one they did, I feel like it lasted a bit longer because it was
Mm,
the first one. And it's quite a niche piece, which is what I appreciate about it. I don't think I kind of appreciate the rebels, especially having such like ragtag looking rank badges compared to
mhm.
the kind of like symmetrical, really organized rank badges of the
Yeah,
Empire.
I didn't think of
Um,
that.
which is what like when I got the first one, I thought of that. It kind of the like hodgepodge of different model parts. I think kind of works with
Yeah,
the overall like spirit of the rebellion.
and the more like
Uh,
earthy tones of like the browns and the
and
greens
like
and
the
everything.
just like the randomness and like the lack of uniformity, I think
Sure.
works really well. Um, I don't know. Like I think um, maybe like under an hour. I wouldn't say like a few minutes, but of course these keep getting more and more popular because I think people are understanding it's kind of hard to go
Yeah.
backwards. It's out of them.
I think the hard part with these is you kinda have to look at them like you do the maquette line for Regal Robot,
Yeah,
because as they get more and more popular and as more and more people try to collect them,
People are going to
you're
want to backtrack
yeah,
and
they're backtracking, but they're also moving forward. They're also trying to get everything coming out moving
they're
forward, right?
trying to, yeah,
To continue the set or continue the collection or whatever. And I don't think, honestly, I think the hard part with all of these is that there's not really a miss, right? Like, in my opinion, this is only my opinion. Don't freaking come at me, even though no one's gonna anyway. But like, I think the maquette line misses all the time, but that's my opinion. It's because I think there's things that just don't look that great, right?
Right.
Like the new maquette that's coming out, I don't think is that great looking, and it's like smaller, and it, you know what I mean? Like I think there's more in the maquette line that you could kind of go, I'm gonna pass on that. I'll wait for the next one or whatever.
Not everything fits.
Not
These
everything.
all kind of have the space that can be
These
paired. They can stand
Yeah,
alone.
these are all like kind of bangers. I mean, I know it's a rank badge, but it's still like very
Well,
displayable. I
Cece
mean,
just said something that I didn't even realize. So we don't. I mean, whether it's statues, whether it's figures, whether we don't get a lot of good guy stuff. Matt, you've been saying
true.
this since day one.
Yeah,
These are all elements of the rebels, of the good guys.
yeah.
A
We
lot
don't
of
get a
these
lot
things,
of good guy stuff.
Admiral Badge, Leia, the communicator, like
True.
Yeah, and I also like I collect just as a hobby. I've always collected badges, like law enforcement badges, and
Mhm.
I have a shadow box of like the Mandalorian, like New Republic badge, some Imperial rank badges, the Inquisitor rank badge, all that kind of stuff. And I opened up the first badge set in my office, and my coworkers were like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah,
And
yeah.
these are like casual Star Wars viewers, obviously. So I had to
Yeah.
explain what it was. So I think
Mhm.
like there's some stuff that's always going to be iconic, like the Jedi communicator, where it's like you see it, you instantly recognize it. I think these ones, it's like I said, it's a little more background. If you didn't know, you wouldn't know
Right.
exactly what you're looking at. But more of a reason why they should offer these. And I do think, kind of like what you're talking about with the maquettes, I think it's whatever speaks to you. Because I think with like at least the maquettes I have, I tend to like the ones that are pretty close to what ended up on screen. I think just because it's the most familiar to me, as opposed to the new Joe Johnson one they just announced, where it's super wild and it's a blink and you miss it, or it's a
Right.
date, that kind of thing. So that's why I don't know if this one will be as popular as the ones previously, or if thanks to their hard work, it's people are appreciating this a lot more, whether they knew about it beforehand or not.
I would say so. Yeah.
And I just think that like the market's a bit weird right now anyway. Like the people I've talked about who
I
are
just
selling things are grateful to sell one
Yeah.
thing alone and run up 50. I don't
No,
think they'll have a
you're
problem with
right.
the
You're right, Cece. I would argue that like it doesn't have to be as popular for it to sell out. Like you know what I mean? I think
the
Oh
some of
yeah,
other
these,
it's still gonna sell out. It's just
some of these
like
other ones,
people are obsessed with
yeah,
if
how
it gets sold out in 5 minutes or
right,
an
how
hour.
fast.
Like,
Because some of
meh,
these other ones have been like people have been like all over that shit, and it's gone in a second. But
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be like on everybody's list. It'll still sell out easily,
the other
and
thing that too
you know,
that's a plus with these is they're affordable, right?
yeah, they are right.
This one I think is what, 155 euro.
Yeah,
Then once you factor in shipping, and then at least, I don't want to speak for everybody, but at least for those of us in the States, if you're paying
mhm,
with PayPal charges you a small conversion fee, then you choose shipping, etc.
big,
You're talking maybe 225, 230 for a great piece. And then these can be standalone, they can be
yeah,
paired with pieces,
yep.
and like it really could. And there's
They look
potential
amazing.
future releases that this might be able to pair very nicely with, right?
There is, yeah.
Speculative, but
Speculative.
just saying
Ask
there's,
Jason. Jason wants you to ask him what that release
no,
is.
I don't. Do not send me any DMs. But
No,
yes,
but but
this
yes,
could pair this could potentially pair very nicely with something,
yes,
or many things.
many things.
And yeah, I just think overall it's another. Yeah, you're right. It's another banger, and it's another one for the good guys.
Yep.
Because you look at the Imperial stuff, and you just get the cold cylinders, or you get those stale, very
Yep.
surgical, very precise. Yellow, blue, red, which are cool, right? Because those ones you could tell, oh, this is Tarkin's, this is Thrawn's, this is.
Right.
But this just has that, just all the, it's what's that term? Not to sound too cliche, but you know, perfectly imperfect, right?
Sure.
Like it's just got that level of imperfection that makes it such a great piece. So, yeah, I think
It's what
so.
Star Wars is all that like
Oh yeah, it's
imperfection
just
that
getting
just
all that
is
slapstick,
fantastic.
yeah, craziness, and enjoying and loving every bit of it. So it drops this Saturday. Saturday is gonna be the what?
April 5th.
Um, the 5th, and for the time differences, at least for me on the East Coast, it's gonna be 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So it'll be 2 p.m. for me on the East Coast. I think that makes it what, noon for you guys, right? No, 11.
Noon for
11 a.m. for you guys.
CC, 11 a.m. for me, for
Yes.
for
Um,
Pacific time.
and then for those overseas, do the math. I think it's 7 p.m. UTC, 8 p.m. CEST, and then again limited to only 50 sets. Um,
Yep.
you know, again, all the previous ones have all been 50. This is going to be limited to 50. And I think if you tune in maybe Friday afternoon, Friday evening, we're going to have a sort of a first look. We're going to do an unboxing before it goes up, before it goes live for sale. And for those watching in the future, obviously it is
You're
what it is.
screwed.
But
You're screwed. Yeah, if
yeah,
you're watching in the future and this thing's already sold out, which it will be, you can you just try to get some from another collector that's unloading maybe or possibly, I mean they're going to be hard to get, I think.
yeah.
I just think people are going to hold on to these. I would imagine just cuz it's such a good set already for what they've released so far.
I
And
really like that they're choosing interesting pieces because
yeah.
as you mentioned a few moments ago, like I myself, as you know, I talking a lot with Marvin and things, found parts and models and you get into that stuff and you wouldn't believe, but there's so many pieces to choose from.
Yeah.
You could literally throw a dart and hit, 50 different pieces to pick. And I think they're really taking the time to choose things that are really interesting
Yeah, it's
and
great.
really fun and
Well,
displayed really well.
and Jason, think about this too. Like it could be a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. You could be down the line and be like having a pretty damn cool rank badge set of stuff
Yeah,
to display, like just the rank badges.
yeah.
Like Cece was saying, like that alone is cool. Like that's why I don't pass up on this if you can help it. If you like the rank badges and you have the original or you're thinking about getting the original, because I think eventually that would be a really killer display. Just
Well, because the other ones too are communicators. You get the Jedi comlink,
yeah,
the
exactly.
Leia's comlink, and then you get the Huth one. So
Exactly.
those all have their own subset, and
Yep.
then yeah,
Pretty
um,
sick. Yeah.
it is a niche thing, but it just makes it that much more fun. So yeah, I'm glad we got a chance to talk about it a little bit. Do
Yeah.
you have some of those blurry pics we could take a peek at? I know they don't do any justice, but
Yeah, let
just to
me
get an
see.
idea.
I mean, they're really bad, but let me see
Yeah,
if I
they
can
are. They're rough, but
get them up here.
for anybody watching,
Um,
you just gotta squint really hard to.
yeah, I think let's look at this one. So this is one of them. I have no idea what I'm looking at.
So
Let's
this
see
is
what.
the actual screen use badge. This is during one of the exhibitions from 15, 20 years ago when they had Akbar in his costume on display.
Right.
So that's for the
Take him
badge.
with a plastic lens through a
He was
Ziploc bag.
behind, yeah, he was behind plexi. Someone probably used one of those remember those throwaway cameras you bring
Yeah,
forward?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, someone's probably using one of those, but I mean, it's verbatim. I mean,
Yeah,
they
yeah, it's
they
killer.
nailed it. Yeah.
And then let me see. Let me make sure I'm going the right direction here. I think it's this way. Wow, what a
That's also the
great
actual
picture.
screen use badge. And the other thing too is like, so it's not just the
Pixels.
research. What's great is it's not just the research into the parts and getting those correct,
Yeah,
but also the paint colors.
yeah,
I mean, the paint colors are, it's a dead match, which
yeah,
is
yeah.
amazing.
That's cool. And there's
And then
your
this is the
this
top part, the three reversed on the back of the Biker Scout.
on the back of the Biker Scout. Okay.
And then Bausch has it on the bandolier, which I think is the second subset on the badge, is on Bausch, and I think possibly on the helmet too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I I just think I think people are gonna be excited to pick this one up. So this will go quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So go nice and fast. So just if you're interested in it, make sure you get on their it's on their website, right? That's where you order these
Yeah,
things.
you can join the website. You can go to the website, and what's best. So I want to make sure I have the details clear on this. They're doing a giveaway, and they're
Yeah.
giving away one piece of each of the previous releases. I think the caveat is, and correct me if I'm wrong, we can actually pull it up just to be Yeah,
Yep.
if we have the so I think you have to be new, meaning like if you had purchased a previous piece, I don't think you're eligible. But we can pull up the details if it does help. But yeah, they're doing week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because again, as CC mentioned, when the first badge came out, it sat for a little bit, but a lot of people didn't really know what happened,
Yeah.
and what was going on. By the third release and the Jedi Comlink, word of mouth just spread like wildfire, and then all of a
And people were
sudden,
backtracking to get these
yeah,
week
then the
1,
Hoth
week 2.
communicator was gone, then the general badge was gone, and
Yeah.
then by the
Yeah.
layer dropped, like the site was getting jammed up, and
Yeah.
it just became what it was. Yeah, and which nobody expected, right? It was kind of one of those things where it was
Right.
a project being done out of fun and passion, kind of like a fan made project, if you will. And then yeah, now it's turning into something great, which I love seeing because it's so unique. So yeah, the giveaway I think is great because it still gives we're still a small community, right? It's not like there's hundreds of thousands of us. So it still gives you really good odds of winning one of these. And you have a 1 in 4 chance
Yeah.
if you're new to Lowland Props of winning one of these. And yeah, if you go to the website, you can go to their Facebook page, and you also get the details there, and it'll tell you exactly what steps you need to take. And yeah, I mean, try your hand at it because man, I mean, winning one of these is
Yeah, it'd be great.
wow.
Right.
Yeah.
I looked at their website for this, which I appreciate that they made this a rule because I have the first release, so I wasn't going to try for any of them that I already own. So like not this week, not the Leia communicator because I already own those. I'm definitely going to be putting my entry towards week 3. So if you own the prop already, they ask that you not participate because obviously if you bought one, you already have one. You don't need a second one, which I tend to do out of courtesy anyway, which is good. You could also only choose one. So if you want to win the previous rank badge, enter this week. If you want to go for the Hoth communicator, next week. The Jedi communicator, week after.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I hope that
Oh,
helps.
okay. So it's not like okay. So when I said
For
it first
one,
before, okay, that makes sense. And you
yeah.
can't
So
enter.
if you already
Okay.
have like a Jedi com link, you can't enter to win a second one.
Yeah. So somebody's not
And
walking away with 2 or 3
or all 4.
winnings. I think that's really thought out, really well thought out, because it makes it as fair as possible. So it's already hard enough to try to give something away, right? You think, well, it's very, it's
Yeah.
very well intended, but people are always going to find something to be upset about. I think that being very well thought out, and like you said, CC, not everybody's going to have the courtesy of being, hey, I own this. Let me not try to go for a second one. Um, yeah, I think that's a great way to approach it, but it's still fantastic that the option is there. Um, and
Yeah.
that it's open to those who yet are able to have
Just don't
gotten
be
one.
assholes. Right?
Yeah.
Don't be assholes. Let other people get involved. So, um, well, thank you Lowland Props for bringing out another awesome release. I'm looking forward to Jason opening that. I think at the end of this week. We'll
Yeah,
have
I'll
an
probably
unboxing.
in for Friday.
Yeah,
So,
we'll have
so
an
it goes
unboxing.
live Saturday, so we'll do a quick first look on Friday, and
Perfect.
we'll pop it open, give some nice up close details, and kind of rehash some of the things we talked about. But it's always better when you have it in hand, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a little bit more. You get to sort of look at the colors and the details, and sort of see what's what. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to have it in hand, take a look, and give everybody a little teaser, and
Yeah, love it.
then just when Saturday comes, be ready, be signed in, and be ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I hear you. Anything, CC?
Nope.
All good? Perfect. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us for about 30 minutes here, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
All right.